Hello everyone, welcome to a Doom style tier list, considering we have now beaten Doom, the Dark Ages. I could at least scrounge together a few assets so we could go through this. I'm going to not spend too long on each of these because there are 22 levels each and I like this to be under 30 minutes. And I've also got weapons to do afterwards as well. So let's start with the village of Kalim. As a first level, I will say it's pretty weak compared to the first level in Eternal, which is pretty great. Like, the hell has completely invaded Earth. You run through like lots of skyscrapers. And if you're going through basically the equivalent of an RPG beginning burning village. It's an alright level, looks good. You get your first little glimpse into gameplay. With some of the encounters. In terms of how I'm ranking these, it's mainly from just personal enjoyment and memory of how much I remember from each level. And to be honest, outside of the end part with the turret section on the beach, there's not that much going for Village of Kalim in terms of style. It's cool to see a Sentinel village. I mean, there's another burning level, I guess. So I'm going to put it in meh. I think meh is a good place to put it, actually. I mean, it doesn't do anything awful. It's not that memorable, though. I'll put it in alright. I think considering some of the other levels later on, it makes more sense to put it there. Of all places. Also, we need to make this a little bit smaller to fit in the actual tier ranking. So let's do that. There we go. Let's put that there. Oh no, and alright, not meh. Right, Hebeth. Second level in the game, honestly, I'm going to put it below the village. I think it looks cool. I think the reactor is interesting. It's just we spend a lot of it inside, and it's all build up to the actual Atlan segment, which I think is better. So I'm going to put it in meh. Apparently, Hebeth is a place you visit in Doom Eternal. Like, when you go back to the Mars and you destroy the core, or you destroy part of the core, Mars core, Hebeth is a city on there. I don't know if that's the same place here, but it kind of looks similar. There's got to be reactor in it in the middle. Barrier Core. So Barrier Core sits with the other Atlan levels in terms of them being big cinematic encounters with gameplay that's fine for the most part, but again, it's just mainly just parrying and punching big meat monsters. I like the end part where you drop the core and you have to throw it into the reactor. It's not timed or anything, but I do like that they add at least something at the end there. And for first time experience, it isn't the worst thing in the entire world, so I'll put it in alright. Does in terms of levels. I like it more than Hebeth because I actually remember what happens in it. I don't remember anything about Hebeth, really, all that much. Sentinel Barracks, again, kind of falls into the Hebeth thing of it being all lead up to the dragon segment, and because of that, it's not that memorable either. A lot of these early levels are going to be low, by the way, because I don't love them. They get better as they go along, don't worry. So I'm going to put Sentinel Barracks, I think, also in meh. I like the setting more. I like seeing kind of their barracks from a distance. The kind of blue skies are nice. But again, it's all build up to the dragon segment, which is the cool part of that level. Which is this one. Chapter 5, Holy City of Aratum. I would say this is the first great level in the game. I was very nervous, especially after the Atlan stage, that the dragon segments would be the entire level. They were not. I like how they hybridized that with actual gameplay. You fly around, shoot lots of ships, land on them. Even though I was annoyed by it at the time, there being secret landing spots, I actually kind of like the fact you have to grab your way to find them. Would I have liked like a prompt to appear on screen to tell me there are places that are hidden, so have a look around? Yes, but in all honesty, you kind of like the fact you can miss things and you have to run around and try and find stuff. I think that's fun. Like running after the hell ships is great. Like again, jumping on the hell ships, destroying them, and then running back out is also a lot of fun. So good job, Holy City of Aratum. Probably the first pretty decent level in the game, and then it's followed by the first of many good what I would call battlefield levels. Big, open areas. I think Siege Part 1 is the biggest one in the game, and I'm kind of glad they got shorter. I remember saying at a certain point in my playthrough that I kind of wish they were longer, but to be honest, when I remember Siege Part 1, I remember it going on a little bit too long. Saying that, it's still a glimpse into this game's finest parts, which is just giant battlefields, running around, finding collectibles in these big open world-esque areas. I loved it. It kind of makes me think they might do something even bigger for Doom, the next Doom game, like maybe even an open world-esque location. Either way though, it's gonna go in Bhutan. Great battlefield level, love it. Siege Part 2, unfortunately, kind of gets bogged into the trying to be too much like Eternal camp for me. And it's not that memorable of a level either, it's just the inside of the... I don't even remember what happens at the end of it, really, or that much. So, I'm going to put Siege Part 2... I think I'm going to put it in Meh. Honestly, there's no Blair levels in this game. I'm going to get rid of that category now. I think it just does not that memorable. Like, it's just the insides of the city compared to Siege Part 1, which was the actual battle part, which I quite enjoyed. Whenever the game tries to harken too much to Eternal level design, I think that's where it kind of falters a little bit for me. Abyssal Forest, on the other hand, I think is a good case of the game actually taking Eternal level design and using it well. I enjoyed the big battlefield in the middle where there's a bunch of puzzles to solve and then you can continue on from there. The level itself looks great. Like the lead up to the giant titan, which ends up being the Ancestral Forge. I love this design. I like that we're not just going back into like beige, orange cities and burning hellfire. I think the Sentinel, like Argent Denor stuff isn't really that interesting, especially after how much of it you get in Eternal. Like, the game really gets into the cool stuff later on with the Cosmic Realm, which we'll be seeing in a second. But Abyssal Forest, I'm going to put it in great. I think it's a great level. I love this design. I love the different vibe it has going on it. It's a lot slower paced compared to the previous levels. Honestly, if you combine Siege Part 1 and Part 2 together, it'll probably be imperfect. Like, just kind of cut out a little bit of Part 1, and I think I would have liked it a lot more. I think Dark Ages falls into a quantity over quality issue, where there are so many levels in the game, and some just kind of get left behind compared to some of the ones which you can tell the devs put a lot more work into in terms of just making them memorable. Ancestral Forge? Bhutan. Again, the battlefield levels are the standout. There's a big open area, lots of collectibles to get. I love the design of this place. I love running around the giant titans insides. It's always cool seeing the sense of scale in this game and the previous ones. And you get your first shield rune at the end. I actually remember that because they made a whole cutscene out of it. Unlike in Eternal, where I can memorize pretty well when you get the weapons, it's pretty hard to do that in this game considering how many levels there are. But yeah, I enjoyed that. The Ancestral Forge is really neat. Forsaken Plains. This is the battlefield level, right? For Hell? I don't remember that much about it, to be honest. I remember the Ancestral Forge quite a lot because of its different design, but it's also a Hell level, which I do enjoy. So again, not memorizing that much stuff about this. I'll put it in alright, I think, because I don't remember that much about the level itself. That's a good place to put it. Hellbreaker is the next Atlan level. Again, it kind of falls into the Atlan problems. I'm probably also going to put it in alright. Doesn't do anything offensive. It has the shotgun segment at the end, which is kind of cool. But I think the Atlan segments themselves are not that interesting, unfortunately. Like, if they had, like, running around gameplay in it as well, which Hellbreaker does towards the end, you do jump off, leading to a fake-out scene where Azrak isn't even there. Sentinel Command Station, I'm going to put in Bhutan. Again, completely changing up the design. We get kind of an almost a 2016 level, where we're running around this high-tech facility. I like that the level loops upon itself. You get key cards. Again, very linking back to 2016 level design. Also, It reminds me a lot of the architecture of the hub area in Eternal, which I think is the point because you can actually see the hub area in Eternal in this level. It's like the small floating island to the left of the place, I think. From Beyond is a decent dragon segment, even though I think it's a little bit short. There was no reason why you couldn't combine Chapter 12 and 13 together, I don't think. I would probably put it in alright. Although I do like the link to the Cosmic Realm at the end. It's pretty fine for the most part. And now we lead to Spire of Nerthal. What a level. Again, as I mentioned before, there were levels that were given the cake. This level was given the cake. It's better than like all the Cosmic Realm levels in my opinion, and it's leading up to it. You have this beautiful like sunken city you're traversing through. You release the old one. Many big battle arenas as you use the dragon, probably the best dragon level in the game, I think as well. Just the best use of it. I'm going to put it in perfect. This is not only one of my favorite Doom the Dark Ages levels, it's one of my favorite Doom levels ever. City of Rhyul. So, I quite enjoy this level for the... Obviously, it's the first Cosmic Realm proper level. A lot of mysterious and strange visuals in here. My issue with the Cosmic Realm kind of stems from the levels being a little short. But I do enjoy the City of Rhyul. The parts where like it throws you a lot. These three levels do that a lot, to be fair, where they kind of throw you into these weird, like psychological horror segments. But I'm gonna put it in great. I kind of could just put these all three in great because they are just all great. So these all can go together in great. They're not as good as Spire of Nerthal, but they are pretty decent. Belly of the Beasts. I'm going to go out on a controversial opinion here, but I don't like Belly of the Beast. I think it's just a sudden interlude in an otherwise pretty well-paced segment of the game where you're going after Fira, these three levels being back-to-back, and then you get eaten by the old one, and the level is very short, and then you get the cutscene at the end where Fira doesn't get taken away anyway. I just think this breaks up the pacing entirely, and we've already seen Inside Guts type levels. I mean, it's literally what hell is. I guess it's kind of cool being inside the old one, but there's nothing like that memorable about it. It's just a tentacle monster. Like, if it was like a cosmic place and there was more interesting things going on in this level, I think I'd enjoy it more, but its placement in the game there makes me a bit bitter. I'm also a little bit biased towards that one chest towards the end, which looks like you get it at the top of the area, but it's not. No, you get it at the beginning of the area basically, and I missed it. We did the entire level again, so that was fun. And then the last four levels, Harbor of Souls is gonna go in perfect. Might be a surprise, but I think this is the best hell level in the game, in all the games maybe. I love the vibe. It reminds me of Niflheim from Norse mythology and I guess God of War. Like the Doomslayer being a demon himself or being a ghoul, having to reclaim his mortal self, return to the mortal realm. What a great idea. I love the skulls. I love how the level loops upon itself 3 times. I think it's as good as Spire of Nerthal. Well, maybe a little bit less. Maybe I should put Spire of Nerthal in its own category because what a fucking level. But they're both good. Resurrection, I think, is also really good. I'm going to put that in Bupin. Great battlefield level with a great boss fight at the end of the Bishop Creedmaker. Or was it Can Creed? No, it's Creed. It's a Bishop Bishop Creed. I think the boss design in this game is the best in the series. Because of the parrying, they can make the boss fights more complicated without it feeling too gimmicky. So, good level. I like that you get Reset at the beginning, and then you get the final big battlefield. And then we have Final Battle, which again, I think is the best Atlan stage in the game, and it's helped by the fact that it isn't just an Atlan stage. It's also got a really good boss fight against Azrak at the end. So I'm going to put it in great. I don't think it's perfect because I think the best parts of the game were just fighting. But, yeah. And then we lead to Reckoning. Reckoning is a difficult case because on the one hand, I know what they're doing here. Reckoning is harkening back to classic Doom. Like a classic Doom hell level. And then you get a final boss of Azrak and the Witch, which I don't think is as good as the final battle, but I think that's the point. You're chasing after him, he is weakened, and you're just dealing with him. This is the actual final level, and 22 is like, here's a classic Doom level. Enjoy! I think it's the most intricate designed in terms of key placements as well. Outside of maybe Resurrection. So they both kind of come together in my head. But that's it. That's my ranking. I think it has weaker levels overall to Eternal, but there are some bangers in there with Harbor Souls, Spire of Neverfall probably being in my top 5 levels ever in Doom. And then like all the Cosmic levels are great. But yeah, we have some... I like how all the levels are kind of orange all at the bottom, outside of Reckoning. Just very short levels didn't leave that much of a lasting impact. Especially Hebeth. Like, come on, man. We're going to the city of Hebeth and it's like, it's very mid. Oh. Let's go through weapons while we're here. In fact, I'll probably cut the VOD. No, we'll put the weapons all into one episode. We'll just say Doom the Dark Ages levels and weapons tier list. Why not? So, Shield Saw. It's a little bit smaller, so it will fit in each category. Shield Saw is going to go in Bupin. I don't, like, religiously love the Shield Saw. I don't like the movement option compared to the Meat Hook. I think the Meat Hook's better. But, versatility, throwing it into enemies to stun them and also cut fodder into half, great. The use of it to parry, obviously, wonderful. Blocking as well. Really cool addition to the Doom series, and I hope it appears in the level ones as well. Combat Shotgun. I think at the beginning of the game, I didn't mesh well with it. I didn't use it as much as the other weapons because it kind of gets superseded by the other weapons in the game. But overall, really cool weapon because of how armor works. After Eternal, well, after 2016, there was no need for an infinite pistol anymore because getting armor or getting ammo was tied to the pure gameplay loop, which we'll get to later with the weapons. But one of the things I like what they did with the combat shotgun here is they turned it into an ammo farm, basically, where you can use it to get ammo back by shooting fodder. It's not as good against bigger enemies as other ones are, but in terms of just getting ammo back, it's kind of cool. So because of that, I'm going to put it in alright. It doesn't feel great, and it's a shotgun. But yeah, Super Shotgun. I'm not going to lie. I think the loss of the Meat Hook kind of brings the Super Shotgun down compared to the other ones. And it doesn't have anything that memorable about it, unfortunately. So I'm going to put it in there. It might be controversial to put the Super Shotgun, the iconic weapon of Doom, in there. But I think compared to the other games, it's not that interesting. Like, there are just weapons that are better than it. In 2016, the Super Shotgun was really cool because of how powerful it was. But because of how many powerful weapons there are in Dark Ages, it kind of loses some of its luster. Shredder. So Shredder, which one is the Shredder? The Shredder is the one with the... Yeah, it's the assault rifle weapon. I love the modifiers on it. Pincushion and the one with ricochets off the shield. Really cool ideas, but I don't use it that often. I don't know why, but I just found it not as impactful as some of the other weapons. In terms of the modifiers, really cool, but yeah, I'm going to put it in alright, I think. I wanted to enjoy the assault rifle, considering how much I love it in Eternal with the micro missiles and the precision shot. But unfortunately, I think it's a little bit lacking. Pulverizer. Well, not Pulverizer. Accelerator. This is going to go all the way up in perfect. Similar to Eternal, I love the Energy Plasma Rifle. It is iconic. They took a weapon in 2016 that was alright and turned it into something really cool in Eternal with the microwave beam being probably the middest modifier in the game, but the other one, where the weapon turns red and then does that pulse at the end, fantastic. Love that ability. And the accelerator was like, what if we took that and made you have to work for it more, but we made it even better because it can break armor now as well. Chef's kiss. Beautiful weapon. Beautifully done in Dark Ages. I love it. Pulverizer is going to go in Bupen, just because of the concept alone. You mash up skulls and turn it into shrapnel, which fires in a wide arc against many demons. Love the idea. It's a very unique weapon, and it's very good for clearing crowds. And then the boost you get for the yellow skull and the aura of killing big enemies is really neat. I am a little bit biased by the idea of the weapon, but come on. I mean, come on, really. Impaler, I think it was good at a certain point, but in a game where precision shooting isn't really required, and there are better weapons that do this, like do a big hit for not a whole lot, we'll get to that later. I'm going to put it in there. I like its design, but I think the Shredder is better, just in terms of visuals, but like in terms of its use, it kind of falls into the same camp as a Super Shotgun as to why would I use it when there are just weapons that are better than it. Cycler. I'm going to put that in Bupen. I don't think it's quite as cool as the Accelerator does in terms of its attack and the loop of its attack, but I found out something about it that made it incredible. When you execute an enemy, having shot them with the Cycler, they will pass their shock effect onto another enemy and cause them to be momentarily stunned. This can be triggered forever, and it is so satisfying watching the effect travel between the enemies as you kill them. Like, what an idea. I love it. Really great job with the plasma energy rifle in this game, and the two different variants of it. Chain shot is going to go in perfect. I mean, it's a new weapon. It is a ball that fires out of a gun and rides back towards it. Already, it was really cool of how you could charge it up. But then they add the best modifier in the game, where if you parry, you get an immediate charge up, which makes it broken in boss fights. It basically replaces the Super Shotgun. The Super Shotgun is not useful anymore. This is the new Super Shotgun. It's just that good. I love it. Range is not that great. These are basically the same weapon, but this is better because of how much damage it does when it's fully charged. And it looks incredible. Just the hit, it feels so good to do. Grenade launcher. I'm going to put grenade launcher in great. At the beginning of when I first got it, I was like, okay, I'm not going to use this weapon that much, am I? But the arc of the attack and how much damage it does to groups of enemies, and the later thing you get where it fires off another grenade that acts as shrapnel, is really fun. And it is worth noting with the grenade launcher, I think that like the actual arcing mechanic is a fun challenge, and it makes it unique. That's one of the things that Dark Ages is better than Eternal, I think, is giving each weapon kind of a pro and con. Like, yes, the Accelerator is really good at doing damage over a long period of time, but its range isn't very good, and its accuracy isn't great either. There are pros and cons, as opposed to Eternal, where they all kind of have the same range and the same effect. Outside of the Super Shotgun that has a very short range, I guess. Rocket Launcher is also going to go in great. In fact, I might even put it in Bupen. Rocket Launcher has always been good, especially for doing damage with the homing a shot in Eternal and the remote detonation. But to be fair, I didn't use that much, but was cool. In Dark Ages, they were like, how can we make it even cooler? Well, they added a thing called Vampirism, where if you get a parry off, similar to the chain shot, you will take no damage from close range rocket launcher shots. I am so glad that you take damage from rocket launchers again. I think you did in Eternal, but I don't remember it being that big of a problem in that game. In this game, it does a lot of damage to you, so getting it off is great. Not only that, because it's called Vampirism, you get HP back for all the self-harm you would have inflicted to yourself. Like, oh my god, that's so cool. Which means It is pretty great against bosses. You can just stand in front of them and shoot off multiple rockets, they get stunned, and you get all the delicious HP back. Ravager. I'm going to put that in great. I don't think it's as good as the Pulverizer, just in terms of the wide arc, but I like that it has a built-in weakness where you have to stand still to do more damage and get the build-up effect to even occur. But like its short range, just volumes of bones being thrown out is really satisfying, and I think that kind of puts it in great. I like the whole bone idea weapon is fantastic. Okay, I'm going to put this in Blair. The only Blair in the entire game, in my opinion. I did not like the BFC. I do not know why they changed it. The BFG existed in the old Dooms. There was no reason to bring in the BFC. I'm glad they, brought their own idea in here, but I don't think it's a very good weapon because all it is a big explosion, as opposed to the BFG, where it is a big explosion. But it also does damage as it travels. It fires off these lines of attack, does a shit ton of damage to the enemies. The BFC is just a big explosion, and it can be really annoying when you miss because I keep thinking it's going to fire across the arena, and it doesn't. It needs a hit point, it needs a ground point. While the BFG was a line, this is a explosion far away from you, and it's also just not that interesting, I don't think. Like the crossbow is a cool idea. Like as a weapon, it could be kind of cool, but as a super shot, I don't like it. And moving on to our melee weapons, I'm going to quickly go through this. Power Gauntlet is cool. Does not feel as good as the other two though, so I'm going to put it in alright. And the Flail is going to go in Boopin, and the Dread Mace is going to go in Perfect. Flail, love the flame effect. Armor breaking off, it's beautiful. Getting the Berserk effect on and just trouncing through enemies is really satisfying. However, it is not as satisfying as a Dread Mace, which again is a really cool weapon because it has cons to it, but it also rewards you. There is an ability you get for the Dread Mace called Riposte, where if you parry an attack, you guessed it, you get an additional attack of the Dread Mace, which, by the way, instant kills enemies and gives you full ammo back. So you get to do that twice against big boys. It is really satisfying. There is a cooldown period for the second hit after you do it, but if you can time that well, it's Christmas. And there it is. That is both rankings. I would say the levels aren't as good, but the weapons are the best they've ever been. I think these are the best weapons in the series. But great levels as well. And that's it. That is Doom Dark Ages. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Where I rank next. Ciao for now, and goodbye.